Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Korman Productions Deep Dive TV Podcast with my co-host Stacie here to talk about Revival, Season 1, Episode 2, titled Keeping Up Appearances. The episode's description reads as follows. A reviver's attack shakes Wazoo as Dana begins an investigation too close to home. The series was created by Aaron Kuntz and Luke Boyce. The episode was written by Aaron Kuntz and Luke Boyce. The episode was directed by Amanda Rowe, second episode in a row. I'm not sure if she directed all the episodes or this is like a block situation. The episode and probably series, I decided to look into this because we were talking about the editing last week.
Okay.
It was both episodes were edited by Sandy Piera. She has 24 editing credits and 24 assistant editing credits. I didn't really recognize anything that she's actually done as far as editing is concerned, but as far as assistant editing credits, she worked on RoboCop, the 2014 version, and A History of Violence and Eastern Promises. I know that History of Violence was a great movie. Great job so far in the series. Great job by Amanda Rowe for the first two episodes, and of course, the writing team as well. Before going further, I'll tell you a couple things. One, this is not a spoiler-free podcast, so if you haven't watched the episode, I highly recommend you go and check it out, and then come back and give us a listen. Secondly, if you're listening on the platforms of this podcast is now available on, please follow and feel free to check out our YouTube channel, Korman Productions, where additional content can be discovered. Shout-outs this week.
Yay!
I'm actually surprised that we have a few, because this is not even 16 hours after the episode 1 podcast dropped, and of course the episode itself.
Right.
So,
based on when this airs and our recording schedule, we're recording almost a full week ahead of when it's actually dropping.
Yep. And so the first shout-out is for Deb Burry, who said that this episode grabbed her from moment one. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Deb Burry, of course, is our friend from the Quantum Leap community, who apparently is also in some other fandoms as well.
Yeah, Deb, of course, is very big in the Quantum Leap fandom and posts things about Quantum Leap all the time in all the groups. She's been lovely about that. She's also a Sullivan's Crossing fan. I know she watches that show, and apparently now she's watching Revival. So
that's pretty cool.
Lots of stuff around here for Deb to enjoy. She was in our Thanksgiving, I'm pretty sure.
She was, yep. And then you have another shout-out.
Faith Shavs, our friend of the channel, Faith Shavs, who's a background actress in Nova Scotia. She watched the first episode of Revival and was left a little confused by that ending scene. She said, so is the sister a reviver? The answer to that is yes. That is where we were left at the end of episode 1. And episode 2 really digs into that. That's basically what episode 2 is about. So we're going to talk all about that today.
All right. Are you going to talk about your other shout-outs?
Yes. I want to talk about Patrick Baxter, which is a name most people probably aren't familiar with. We usually don't talk about the behind-the-scenes people too much, other than directors and writers.
Yeah, I talking about the editor is a little deeper, deeper than I usually go.
But Patrick Baxter is a prosthetics makeup artist. And I have been chatting with him, so I wanted to give him a shout out in this episode. He is the department head of prosthetics on this series, Revival, as well as the head of prosthetic makeup and special effects makeup department head on From. So he worked all 30 episodes of From. He actually just went back to Nova Scotia. They're filming season 4 starting at the end of this month.
Pretty exciting.
So he had just returned for that. And he has a really amazing filmography. I was looking through and I was like, wow, this is some impressive stuff. In addition to, of course, covering the series that we talk about, he's done tons of horror and genre titles. He did Chapelwaite. He did the 2017 The Mist.
Okay.
He did Kids vs. Aliens.
Right,
which we covered.
We didn't exactly have great things to say about that, but it had nothing to do with the makeup job.
Yeah. He did multiple Saw movies. And he's even done some Star Trek titles. He did work on Star Trek Discovery and Strange New Worlds.
Cool.
I'm hopeful that we can get him on sometime to chat with us about all of that, because
that would be pretty awesome.
There's so much stuff in there that, we've talked about his work so many times,
exactly.
in From and things like that, but not mentioning him by name, of course. So now we have a name to go along with all of these awesome, gory prosthetic effects that we talk about.
All right.
Yeah.
So pretty cool stuff.
Pretty cool stuff.
I hope we do get an opportunity to talk to him on air at some point. All right. So Stacie, your thoughts on this week's episode?
Episode 2. Okay. So as I already kind of mentioned, we're we're settling into a specific storyline here, right? Where episode 1 was really like, here's everybody and here's the whole setup. Now we're kind of focusing. We're talking about M. We're talking about how she died. We're trying to learn it. She doesn't even know. We're diving in to the story. Characters were easier to follow this time and to track and to take notes on. We didn't meet as many new people, but we did meet our other kind of main character.
Yes.
Played by Stephen Ogg. So we're finally going to get to talk about him today a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, the mystery is here.
Yeah.
The big mystery right now is what is the deal with the strong reviver Arlene, and why is she different than everybody else, and what does it all mean?
Of course, we don't actually dig too deep into that question because she kind of just goes off on her own,
right?
And we lose track of her, and we don't really get into that.
The question has been posed now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's clearly an important part of the overall mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Is why would this one person exhibit such different characteristics from the others?
Right.
But yeah, I definitely continue to feel the vibe that this is going to be kind of a little bit of a puzzle box mystery show.
Which
is cool because we love that.
Yeah, I thought this was a overall pretty strong second hour of television. I thought it definitely expanded upon things in the season premiere. M kind of becomes the most interesting character on the show because we dig into what happened to her, but there's still some mystery involved with that too. Though we might get more information on that in the third episode because based on how this episode ends. And I thought this was once again a very strong hour of television. I think the humor was dialed back a little bit. It's still there, but it's not quite. When the show wants to be serious, it's going to be serious,
right?
And the sense of humor is going to take a back seat. I was a little worried after the pilot episode that the humor would kind of undermine the more serious nature of certain scenes, but that's not the case. In fact, the opening scenes of this episode are beautifully done. Once again, credit to Amanda Rowe, who directed it, and Sandy Peria, who edited these scenes. And, of course, the writers. But, yeah, do we have anything else to say before diving in?
I wanted to go back to one point from episode 1 before we dig into episode 2. And that is the John Doe. There was the man on fire talked about during that podcast. And I forgot to go back to that at the moment I was supposed to go back to it. So I just want to bring that up here. It doesn't really come up in this episode. But I wanted to keep it in our minds of our little puzzle board that we're creating. So again, he was a John Doe. Pretty sure I identified him as being Jesse Blackdeer based on the actor. And the point that I forgot to mention is in the very next scene, Dana's packing and we first meet Dana and Wayne. And he says to her, "You've been running ever since you fumbled the Blackdeer case."
Yeah. So
the Blackdeer case is brought up right there. It feels like a throwaway line, right? Because we don't even know who these characters are, let alone who Blackdeer is. There is some hinting in this episode. They don't mention a case by name, but there's some hinting that Dana was involved in something that got covered up. And I think my instinct is that is the Blackdeer case. And her dad's accusing that as being the reason she's trying to skip town. But I'm pretty sure Man on Fire, John Doe, is definitely related to the Blackdeer case because it's the same actor.
Okay.
So that's something to keep an eye on as we get these little hints at the history of the police department and this other case. And I think it's going to be important.
Okay, so diving in.
Let us dive in to keeping up appearances.
All right, so the episode begins with a beautiful shot of a river with M waking up from being dead. She wakes up and coughs up a wedding band.
So this is a flashback to Reviver Day.
Yes. And she walks on the bridge, finds her missing shoe. A cop car drives by her, paying her no attention whatsoever. She gets back to the dorm where
and there's a memorial on the bridge.
Oh, okay.
So somebody died there, which we'll learn more about.
All right. We go back to the dorm where her roommate, Kay, is watching the news about the Revival's events, and she thinks it's very scary. All right, so this seems to indicate that she does not know that M is dead.
Right.
Whereas
at this point, it doesn't seem like she knows.
But at the end of this episode, she seems to indicate that she knows.
At the end of it, well, she knows at the end of the episode that M died because she heard them talking about it.
Yes. She didn't actually witness it.
She didn't witness it. So she knows something. And
right.
Of course, we'll get to this, as we get through the episode, that she knows something, but I don't think she knew that something led to M dying.
Okay. That makes sense.
So in this moment, she doesn't know she died, but she knows some shit went down last night that she was somehow a part of.
Okay. So she lays down and passes out for what seems like an eternity.
I want to talk about an exchange they had.
Okay.
Right before M goes into her room. And again, this is on Reviver Day. So Kay's freaking out about zombies. And M's like, we'll watch 28 days later tomorrow. Kay comments it's 28 weeks later they need to watch. They already saw 28 days later. Now, this is layered because, of course, the new movie's coming out very soon. And I'm guessing it's an MGM release.
I'm assuming.
And this is some advertisement for that.
Yeah.
But I have a theory.
Okay.
And it's not a very strong theory, but I have a theory that maybe this story is taking place sometime in the past.
All right.
I don't know if you've noticed, but every single character has a flip phone.
You mentioned that when we watched the second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't mentioned it on air yet. Though.
No, you did
Everybody
not.
has flip phones. Now, I know right now flip phones are kind of back again. There's a couple new flip phones out.
Yeah.
But it's not like one character has a flip phone. And at first I thought, it's just the police, like Dane and her dad have one, but we see M has one too in this episode. It could just be a weird family plan thing. But it feels weird to me, like everybody has flip phones. I get the vibe that this is supposed to be taking place in the past.
Okay.
And if that's the case, I don't know if that means anything.
Right.
But for them to be saying they're going to be watching 28 days later and 28 weeks later is mentioned. That movie came out in 2007.
Yeah. Okay.
As a point of reference.
Yeah, and I think that's probably right around flip phone era.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
So if they were getting ready to watch that movie, perhaps that's because it's a new movie.
Okay. All right, maybe.
Maybe.
So she ends up laying down and passing out. I already said that, but yeah, so she went to sleep basically. She wakes up and it's pretty much implied that it's been a while.
It's been 3 days. We hear at some point.
Yeah.
Kay mentions 3 days.
Okay, so she goes to the bathroom. She tries to get high, but no matter how much she takes, she can't get high.
So she has Oxy, which is prescribed to her. Her name is on this pill bottle.
Right.
But she crushes it and snorts it.
Right.
That's not the intended.
No.
Intended prescription.
Don't try that at home, kids.
And yeah, she doesn't feel anything. She tries again and again.
Right.
And it's not doing the trick.
And she's not overdosing either, because with her new reviver powers, basically it's making it so that she cannot get high. Whatever damage the drugs are doing are being instantly reversed.
They're being fixed before it even hurts her.
So she ends up punching the mirror. And by the way, this should also break her hand, because based on her condition.
Which we don't know exactly yet.
Right, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
She gets a cut on her hand.
Right.
Well, yeah, she definitely should have shattered all 20-something bones in her hand when she did that.
Yes. So she goes and sits on the couch and finds her cuts instantly healing. Kay leaves to go be with her parents for the lockdown, basically.
Yeah, and Em says she's going to do the same, although we know she does not follow through with that.
Right. Her dad is on TV saying if you see a reviver, to report it and not take any chances. The reporter is basically giving him endless amounts of crap.
And this is the same reporter we met in the very first scene.
Right, yes.
May.
Yep.
Apparently she's like the only reporter in town, although there is another reporter in this episode. But May seems to be the one in charge of the news station, I guess. She's like their lead reporter because we see her a lot.
She cuts herself with a knife, and of course that instantly heals, and she's starting to freak out a little bit. Her dad is on TV, and he's asked specifically, are we safe? And we noticeably do not get an answer to that question. He looks very hesitant to even answer it. I don't know if he even gives an answer because we go directly to our credits.
Right, we don't see what he said that day, but we know off camera he is very much reluctant about the situation. Doesn't think very highly of revivers. And poor M.
Yes. That's the thing is M I'm sure has seen her dad on TV, like, talking crap about revivers.
Right.
I'm sure she has an inkling of what he thinks of them and what he wants to do to them. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely going to hurt this relationship. If that's already kind of like not the greatest to start with. Okay, so when we come back from the credits, we come back where we left off with the last episode. The old lady is dead. Dana is confused, emotionally asks her if her sister died and when that happened. M says no one can know. Dana gets a call from the dispatcher. The cops are coming. Dana says they need to be on the same page, that she killed the old lady, not her sister. And she's shaky but protecting her sister. She has her put on a coat to hide the blood and evidence of her former injury. Now, is she worried about her sister getting in trouble for killing the old lady? Or is that just...
Well, I think the first instinct is to hide the fact that she's a reviver.
Right.
Because they know that might not be the safest thing to be on the reviver list.
That part I understand. But is she also worried about legal ramifications for killing the old lady?
I don't... Okay, so Dana's the cop.
Right?
Yes,
yeah.
Her sister shouldn't even be here.
Right.
And it's going to get a lot more complicated if the truth comes out. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if she's necessarily worried about her getting in trouble, but the whole thing's just going to blow way out of proportion.
Right.
And they're definitely going to find out she's a reviver. And I don't know, the shit's going to hit the fan.
Okay.
So she's like, this will be a lot easier if, like, you know nothing, you saw nothing, you did nothing.
Now, it is interesting here that all of her instincts at this moment is to protect her sister.
Right.
That should be noted. Dana gives her the story to say as we hear the cops coming closer and closer. Dana's coworkers enter.
Yeah, this was deputies Brent Carlisle and Rogers.
And they're shocked by the scene. And then we cut to the woods. In the woods, Cooper is investigating the strange sounds. He ends up slipping on some ice. His glasses fall off, and he's given them back by a mystery man that we don't know. We don't know this person yet. We don't even know his name, but we'll get it later. This is Blaine, played by Stephen Ogg. 60 credits for him, including a couple episodes of Better Call Saul. 7 episodes of Westworld, both of which I'm pretty familiar with those appearances. And the movie Soulless.
I first recognized Stephen Ogg. He was one of the main characters in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes, that's also...
I noticed one of the playable characters.
Yep.
So I recognized him from that when he popped up in The Walking Dead. He was in 21 episodes of The Walking Dead as Simon. He was the original leader of Hilltop. He also was in 18 episodes of Snowpiercer.
All right, so he ends up asking Cooper his name, but Cooper says, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Mystery Man says, fair enough, but he's also guessing he isn't supposed to be in the woods alone. He ends up apologizing to Blaine for some reason. I'm not sure what he's apologizing for, but Blaine tells him to run along towards that way, which is the way out.
Yeah, he points him in the right direction to leave the woods.
Yep. So we're not really sure who Blaine is as a person, and I'm guessing he's going to be some kind of antagonist in this story, but we don't know yet. As far as, he seems to bear no ill will towards Cooper or children at this moment.
Yeah.
So Cooper finds Wayne, who's relieved to see him. Wayne yells at him, and Cooper asks if he heard the noise, and that there's something out here, which, this Cooper is showing no survival skills whatsoever, because if I'm hearing some strange noises in the woods, I am not going to investigate.
Yeah, remember, that's why he got out of the car, because he heard something and went after it.
Right, yes. Not a good idea.
Not a great idea, especially when the whole, town's kind of blown up right now.
Right. So, M, meanwhile, is in the back of the ambulance. She's not doing well. We hear a voice say that she's having a panic attack, and they decide to bring her to a hospital. Okay, first of all, that would not happen. If they know she's having you cannot die from a panic attack. A panic attack is very scary. It makes you feel like you're going to die. I had quite a few of them back in the day, but you will not die from a panic attack. I mean, I guess, theoretically speaking, if you're in that state long enough and you're old, you could have a heart attack and die from a heart attack, but that you're not going to die from a panic attack. The EMT people are going to know that. There is no reason to rush her off like they do. There's especially no reason to do that without talking to Dana. who they have to know that this is the sister of.
Right.
So this scene is a little not right.
It's possible that the whole medical staff knows who she is, knows she has a medical condition, knows she was just through something traumatic, and they just want to check her out.
Okay, but what they specifically say that we hear in voices is she's having a panic attack, get her out of here.
Yeah.
And that seems a little extreme.
But maybe they were already going to take her.
Okay.
And they're just like, let's move her away from the scene now.
I guess I can see if she's having a panic attack where she could potentially injure herself if she decides to react to the panic attack in a physical way.
Yeah.
I guess, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed a little weird to me. So Dana is talking to someone.
This is Deputy J.P. Brissett.
Okay. Who wants to know how to explain that an 80-year-old woman has a missing head. And yeah, basically, he wants to know how to explain the situation. Dana says she was a hell of a lot more than an 80-year-old woman. Clearly, there was something else going on here. They think they should bury the story. Dana says if Dittman wakes up, I'm assuming this is the husband who is not dead.
Right, so we've confirmed Mr. Dittman is not dead. That's something we talked about last week. Mrs. Dittman's probably pretty dead.
Right.
Mr. Dittman just passed out
right.
by knocking his head on the floor is where I'm landing with this. So he's not dead, and we're like, she says, if he wakes up, talk to him and get details. Which doesn't come back in this episode.
No, but I think we mentioned the Dittmans at least one other time. I don't recall when, but I recall hearing the name at least one other time. So
I think he'll come back later in the story.
Dana only now realizes that Martha was taken away.
And she's not liking that.
No.
Because she doesn't want them to know she's a reviver.
Right.
And, all they got to do is look under her coat to see, something is up with this girl.
The old woman is brought to Abraham, who's a complete idiot in this scene, by the way, with his assistant. I'm not sure who this is.
This is Carla Morel. I was able to ID her. She was credited in the last episode, but she was one of the people I couldn't figure out who she was. So we already talked about her credits. She's played by Paige Evans.
Okay.
I just couldn't match up
who
that character was the first time. And now that I know who she is, I remember seeing her in the first episode.
Right.
But I don't think she spoke, so maybe she had a line that was cut, which is why she got credit.
So I'm going to point out the fact that Abraham knows that revivers heal themselves.
He does. He's the one who told us this.
Right. So
he's also the one who specifically said they cannot die.
Right. So he should know better than to leave this woman in the room alone without restraints.
At the very least, he should be cautious and be like, well, just in case, maybe we should tie this body up.
I understand Dana not considering that possibility earlier, but Abraham should know better.
Yeah.
And
by the way, Carla picks up that top of the head when it falls off the ground, and that's gory and beautiful.
I was also kind of curious, like if you lose a body part and you're a reviver and you heal from that, does it become a second person, or like how does that work?
No, just it grows back.
Right, but
like the teeth did.
Okay, but like you lose a hand, for instance, does that
the hand doesn't become a new person?
All right, well,
the body gets a new hand.
What about the top of a person's head?
Well, it was just a little slice of her brain.
Okay.
Maybe if the whole head popped off, I don't know what would happen then. Like, you get into the debate of, is the person the head or the body?
Right.
But in this case, I mean, we'll soon see her head grows back.
Right.
I don't think the missing piece does anything.
No, it does not. But it'd be interesting to see two of them running around.
Yeah, so I'm assuming these are some of Patrick Baxter's handiworks here.
I'm sure,
this actress with the top of her head missing. Mm-hmm. And the prop of here's the top of the head, which was... Ugh.
So Abraham leaves the room, so does the assistant, and we see the head start to heal.
Yeah, he says they're going to do an autopsy, and they go to prep or whatever. Oh, and there's an officer guarding the door, and he tells the officer, no one comes into this room. Yeah.
Well, certainly made sure that happened. A doctor declares Martha fit as a fiddle.
This is actually Nurse Becky Barrow.
Okay.
She's played by Amy Rivard.
Okay.
She was in one episode of Mysteries at the Museum, and 5 episodes of Deer Squad. I don't know what that is, but she was in 5 episodes of it.
All right. Dana appears and tells her that she isn't fine. She's talking to M now. Dana asks what happened to her. M says she's still working it out, but the finer details are a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah, you know what? This nurse probably didn't do a very thorough exam.
Right.
She was like, "You're fine. You can go."
Didn't
notice that
Right.
under her coat is a very bloody, ripped up sweater?
I guess not.
Should you maybe not have gone under her coat to fully examine her?
Right.
Listen to her heart.
I would think so.
You should have noticed something.
She basically just uses a tool to shine a light in your eyes, pretending like she's doing
Even
work,
if you don't
but-
notice the bloody clothes, shouldn't there be something weird about this girl's vitals?
Right.
Given her, status of healing.
Yeah.
Can she even have a panic attack?
That's an interesting
her
question.
body's reactions
Well,
should be stabilizing themselves, no?
that's an interesting question. I'm not really sure, but a panic attack is more of an emotional reaction than a physical one.
Right,
I think,
but her heart rate,
Right.
her all of these things. That is what the nurse should be looking at. Something should seem off.
Right.
I'm not sure what, but something.
I'm sure you're right, but yeah, it's an interesting question. So Cooper and Wayne arrive. He's all panicking and giving Dana crap for having M tag along, while M points out that he's the one. Oh yeah, okay. So while he's giving her this crap, M is told by Cooper that he got lost in the woods.
Right, they have their own little aside.
And she uses that as ammunition against their dad. Like, hey, weren't you the one that lost him in the woods? And by the way, does Wayne ever do anything besides yell and be a dick?
I mean, yeah, he's kind of rough.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I like this man.
I can see why this family's not all that close.
Right. So M basically tells both Wayne and Dane that she isn't interested in their help or advice. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good indication of the dynamics of play here. I mean, we already have hints of that in the sense that she, with her condition, was kind of babied and coddled, and that they were kind of all over her all the time and overprotective, not really letting her live.
Right.
And I'm assuming, I think that M basically at this point is done with it, especially since she knows that now she can't die. She's in no real danger. So she's really through with that kind of treatment.
Right. She's ready to be a whole new person with her rebirth here.
And she vows to figure things out on her own and then ends up leaving. Abraham enters the hospital telling the sheriff that they need to talk, and Wayne tells Dana to get Cooper home. Cooper tells his mother about the man he met in the forest, and the reporter talks to Dana about wants to know what really happened. Abraham takes Wayne to the old woman, but they soon find that the guard is dead and the old woman is missing. Yeah, good job there, Abraham.
Her name's Arlene, by the way.
Arlene.
You just call her the old woman in every sentence.
Yes.
She has a name, Dave.
Yeah, okay. Arlene.
I don't know how they know who she is, but they know who she is.
So as the reporter tries to get info out of Dana, alarm bells ring. Dana goes to investigate and stops the reporter from following her, and she sees the Arlene attacking a nurse.
This is orderly number 1.
It's not going to matter because he's
dead.
Yes.
But I was able to match this up by, just his picture on IMDb. It's Matthew Lee playing him.
Okay.
He was in the movie Spiral.
Okay.
As well as one episode of Law and Order Toronto.
All right. So basically, Dana decides to start.
She backs away.
Right, yeah.
She's not going to go after Arlene. She's just kind of trying to ease out of the situation. She's trying to get May to back up.
And behind her, the nurse is being thrown across the room. They see that. And basically, Dana hustles the reporter away from the scene. Wayne passes them. Dana tries to warn him that he can't stop her, and a warning that he doesn't heed. I'm kind of curious at this point if Dana basically thinks that her father is about to die.
I mean,
they
got to do something, right? They do have to stop her, even if they can't stop her.
Right.
You're the cops. No one else is going to do it.
Right.
I'm not sure what her plan would have been.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Wayne continues down the hall with backup into the maternity ward, where they find the old lady cuddling a newborn baby, which is interesting. Kind of indicates that there's some kind of humanity still in there.
Right.
One of them accidentally drops something, a toy, attracting the attention of Arlene. She still holds the baby and runs. They follow her into the parking garage, and I think they think they found her, but it's Blaine's character holding the baby.
Wayne knows Blaine.
Yes, and that's how we know the name, in this episode anyway, and asks how he got the baby. Blaine says he gave him... Okay, so Blaine says he gives him permission to tread on snakes and scorpions and open the gates of hell. Okay, so this is very close to the Bible verse, Luke 10:19, and the meaning seems to be the authority to trample one's enemies. So I'm not sure how that fits in to this, or what Blaine is actually saying to Wayne at this point, but it seems to be that he thinks that there's some enemies that need to be vanquished, and he's giving Wayne permission to do that, I guess? I'm not totally sure.
I can't speak to the religious connotations here.
Right. I actually ended up looking up this verse.
But what I know about the character of Blaine Abel, not necessarily from this episode, but just from his character guides that have been, that
some of which we
SyFy's been sharing a lot of, about our main characters. And it's funny because he's not a main character, but he's always included in the main character shares.
Gotcha.
Even though he's listed as a guest star, not a main character. Anyways, he is a religious zealot, is how his character is described.
Cult leader, yeah.
Yeah, and also something to do with the radio. I don't know what that means. I think he's a radio DJ, religious person.
Okay.
Yeah. Not sure what that means as far as the context of the actual story yet. But
all right, yeah, we'll certainly find out.
I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about him as we go.
So, after the scene, Wayne talks to the mayor and Abraham. Wayne, per usual, just wants to lock everyone up. Abraham wants to keep all options on the table till they know what they're dealing with, which is kind of a middle ground, sensible solution.
Right. He's like, okay, I don't want to lock everybody up, but also I acknowledge how dangerous this one person is.
He says something along the lines of, we don't necessarily treat those who are different very well, but this is a situation that requires caution. And Wayne just thinks, oh, see, he agrees with me.
We should lock him up. And he's like, that's not what I said.
Right.
But we do need to catch Arlene because, she's killing people.
Right. The mayor says to take the resources they have and find Arlene, and after that they will talk. Dana goes to M's dorm looking for her, and instead finds this whole weird shrine of pictures.
Like drawings of black
weird things.
Void circles. And,
right.
The alarm clock is smashed. She examines it. And inside the alarm clock is a giant bag of pills, which she describes as 1,000 pills. That's a lot of pills.
My note says crap load of drugs. She freaks on M when M enters the scene about her entire situation. M says the drugs don't even seem to work anymore, so she's clean. Because when she woke up, they didn't have the same effect anymore. Dana thinks that she might have overdosed, but M denies it. Of course, she has no memory of how she died, so she could have overdosed. She tells Dana that she went to the bridge on her mother's birthday. She got high, and when she woke up, she was in the falls. She says at 9:30, she saw a car headlight. Dana tries to get her to remember more details, and then suddenly asks if maybe she could have jumped. M says she thought about that recently, and says no, she couldn't have jumped.
Yeah, now at this point of the story, first time I was watching, I was trying to piece together. I was under the impression the mom killed herself at the bridge. Which isn't the case.
No.
We'll learn soon enough.
Yep.
But that's where my mind was when we're talking about people jumping from the bridge.
All right. Dana gets a call. She's missing the morning briefing. Dad's going to kill her, but she says to M that she'll show her face at the station, and then the two of them will investigate what happened on the bridge. M doesn't seem like she really wants to go along with this, but she reluctantly does so. When they leave, it seems like Kay was listening the entire time, and now she knows that M is a revival.
Right.
Initially, Dana arrives at the station. It doesn't seem like it's going very well. Wayne is in a bad mood. And my note is, does he have another mood? She leaves M to relax, but...
she tells her to get a snack at the vending machine, gives her a credit card, says, get me a chocolate bar, I'll be quick.
She stupidly leaves her coat behind with the keys inside.
Yeah.
Which, of course, M ends up discovering. Dana talks to Deputy McCrae, played by Nathan Dales. I'm not sure what I said last week.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Hales or
I
Dales?
forgot to look it up.
It
Dale's
is Dale's.
is what I have.
Okay, Dale's is what it actually is.
So I was correct.
Yes, you
okay.
were. And asks about the drugs she found in her sister's possession. Basically, he knows what they are, and he dispels the notion that she could have got it from a clinic, which is what Em ended up telling her earlier, that it must be from a drug dealer, and refuses to help her anymore, but hands her a file of drug dealers, basically.
Yeah, it's a file of all drug-related offenses that they're working. So he's the narcotics guy,
right? Is
what I'm getting from this, and he's like, "I'm not going to help you, but here's my case files."
Right.
And this guy is an asshole.
Like,
that's the entire character development of McCrae is you don't want to have to deal with McCrae. How is this guy even a cop?
Right.
He's playing a video game right now, and he's like, "Can you let me get back to work?"
And then Dana discovers her sister is gone, having stolen her police cruiser. She tries to get a car from Jeannie, but no dice. However, she does realize from this conversation she can probably go to Ibrahim and get his vehicle.
Yeah, because his vehicle is the only one in the parking lot, because remember, all the cops are on a manhunt looking for Arlene. We also learned during this chat that Jeannie, the dispatcher, is in some sort of a relationship with Lester,
right?
The old man author that found the horse.
Who we don't see in this episode.
We don't see in this episode, but this cements him as a character that she's involved with him.
Mm-hmm. We cut to Professor Weiner with his sick wife. The wife is played by Gia Sandhu, and I found this credit completely by accident looking for something else. I was looking for another person's credit, and then I happened to notice that this woman's name happened to have the last name as that professor character.
Yes, she is Nithia Weimer.
27 credits for her, including an episode of Tracker, 4 episodes of Strange New Worlds, and Hudson and Rex.
As well as A Simple Favor.
They are going to Nella's?
Nella's, yes.
Nella's,
so
okay.
this is the bar where Dana met Ibrahim.
Gotcha. Ibrahim?
Whatever his name is.
I mean, I feel pretty confident in that one because I actually did look into the pronunciation on YouTube.
I'm not confident in any word you pronounce.
I know, but I practiced that one. So I'm pretty sure that's close.
Oh, so she has cancer, I'm pretty sure.
That's how she looks.
She's got her head wrapped in a scarf, and he's concerned about her health.
Gotcha. And wouldn't you know it, following them is M in her police cruiser. M watches them in the bar with the bartender Nella. Do you have that credit? Because I couldn't find it.
Yes, Nella, who owns the bar, I'm assuming, because it's Nella's is the name of the place. This is Lynette Ware.
Okay.
She was in 5 episodes of Houston and Rex, 3 episodes of Diggstown, 2 episodes of Supernatural. Also in this scene, there's a reporter on TV that's not May. This is just, she's credited as reporter. The actress is Katie Stolp, but I couldn't match her up on IMDb.
Nella asks if M is okay, and M says that she basically is, while basically staring at the professor and his wife. Ibrahim and Dana drive. Dana says M has lived a sheltered life. She didn't get a chance to be a teenager and probably will never have a boyfriend. All right, actually, I'm not sure if she says that she probably hasn't had a boyfriend or she never will.
I'm pretty sure she said she doesn't think she's even had a boyfriend.
Okay, because the second one is kind of harsh.
Yeah,
like,
she was.
She's never gonna have a boyfriend.
I think she's like, I don't think she's ever had a boyfriend.
Okay, that makes
which isn't true.
No, yeah, as it turns out,
because we know she had a thing with the professor,
right?
And I can see why she wouldn't tell her family about that.
So Wiener goes to the bathroom.
I'm pretty sure it's Weiner, not Wiener.
Weimer goes to the bathroom, and M falls, which he is not happy about at all. He ends up saying he blocked her, so he never got any of her messages after the 18th. And he points out that he has his wedding ring, so the wedding ring that she coughed up wasn't in fact his. Now, my comment when we were watching this episode is, okay, that could be bullshit because he could just get it replaced.
Right.
My theory is, I think it's a little too the professor at this point is a little too obvious as a candidate for the kid. I think it is. I think it's his wife. I think her wife is the one with the missing band.
Oh,
She found out about their affair and found M and then killed her, or attempted to anyway.
I mean, that's a theory.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm still suspicious of him, but he does seem to not really know things
Right.
right here. I think a lot happened that night, to be honest. And he's involved in it somehow.
Yeah.
He says that she was sending him scary messages that night, which is why he blocked him, because he was worried that she was going to expose them. I think there's more to him than we know. But I don't necessarily think he killed her. I don't know. There's a lot. I think her mystery is going to be deeper than, like, oh, this one person came and killed you. I think it's going to be this whole, like, series of events that led up to her death.
Makes sense.
And possibly directly related to what is the revival incident.
It would make sense. So Dana continues to open up to Abraham as they drive. She ends up revealing that her mother died 2 years ago, that M was in the car, so their mother died in a car accident.
All three of them were in the car. M was driving.
Okay.
So that's why it's harder on M, potentially, because she killed her mother.
Gotcha.
Which is why she's at the bridge. So this is where the accident happened. The memorial was for their mom, and it's her birthday. And that's why M was at that location on that night.
Gotcha.
At least in part, because she was thinking about her mom in the accident.
So we start cutting back between the bar and this conversation with Dana. Basically, M has started to decide to start a fight with someone in the bar.
This is Clarice. She's played by Kara Wooten. She has 71 stunt credits, including an episode of Handmaid's Tale, 2 episodes of 12 Monkeys. As far as acting, she was in 1 episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds and 1 episode of Bitten.
Interesting. So, she starts to fight. Abraham and Dana discuss her condition as we see M breaking her arm really easily in this fight. Hey, M, just because you can break your arm and heal doesn't mean you need to.
Well, so Clarice was basically talking shit about revivers, saying they should all be locked up and whatever, and M was like, no, you're evil. I'm going to fight back because I can now.
Right. Abraham states the condition that M has as osteogenesis imperfecta, which is the same condition that Samuel L. Jackson's character, Elijah, in Unbreakable and Glass had, which is interesting.
And Dana's impressed that he knows it.
Yes.
But let's remember, he is a CDC scientist,
yes.
So he knows medical things.
Right. Abraham is sympathetic about M's entire situation. M gets her ass beat in the bar. The scene is brutal, by the way.
Yeah,
she's getting punched.
She would have been very dead if not for her revival
right,
status.
Yes. A guy helps her up and drags her out of the bar, but not before she assures Nella that she's okay.
Because Nella clearly knows who she is, knows her condition, is freaked out by this, and M's just like, I'm good.
I mean, anybody would be in trouble at this point.
Right, but especially her.
Right.
Right.
And she ends up calling Dana.
She calls Dana immediately to tell her what happened. Now, this guy that dragged her out...
This is a person that will eventually reveal his name to be Rhodey.
This is Rhodey Rash, is his name.
Played by Caleb Korn. 17 credits.
Horn, with an
Horn.
H.
Sorry. 17 credits, including Dream Scenario. That's a pretty disturbing Nicolas Cage movie that was out recently. 2 episodes of Chucky and Lock and Key. And basically, he reveals himself to be a reviver, and that he knows that she's one as well.
Yeah, but he says, "Don't worry, I don't think anyone else noticed."
Right. How not?
Yeah.
Right. So he hints that he used his reviver healing abilities in his act as a musician at a club that he invites her to. She says she needs to avoid the cops for a variety of reasons, and asks him if he could get her out of there, and he agrees to do so. She ends up leaving a note for Dana and then takes off with Rhodey.
And leaves her phone behind as well.
Yep. In fact, I think she drops it on the ground.
Yeah.
So Dana and Abraham have seemingly bonded, and she suggests that they do it again sometime, but he's either actually clueless or just giving her a hard time on purpose.
I feel like he's like, this wasn't a date. This wasn't fun. I was doing you a favor.
Right. But either way, they're awkward. Dana discovers a note from her sister, which says she needs some alone time for a while.
And it's written on the back of Rhodey's flyer, so she's going to know where to find her sister.
Right, which is why I thought she was kind of stupid if she wants to stay away from her sister to, leave that behind.
She also finds the chocolate bar that Em did get for her in the vending machine.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
And she's like, but I'm still mad at you.
Right. I mean, chocolate does not cure everything.
No, but it helps.
Yes, it does. You're right. So Dana looks at the drug dealer file and realizes that one of them is Kay, M's roommate. Dana goes to Kay to find out about the pills. And meanwhile, Wayne is drinking at the bar and he's basically talking to Neela that he feels like he's losing control of everything. But she gives him a pep talk and says, hey, you were voted in as sheriff. Everybody trusts you. You need to do what you feel is right.
Yeah, she says you need to trust yourself now, that you can handle things.
Right, and this seems to cheer him up. So it seems that Wayne goes over the mayor's head to talk to the governor, and this cannot be good.
He calls the governor and says he needs to call in a favor.
Right, and given the things that this dude is advocating for, this could not be good.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. So Kay reveals that M was not good, that she got really depressed. Kay realizes that M is a reviver, and that she says that she should have not taken her there. I thought she meant the bridge, but I guess...
We don't know what she means.
Right.
Because she's just kind of talking in random, not full sentences, not making any sense.
Right.
Dana's not really being a good cop and asking questions to make this make sense. She's just listening to the mumbo-jumbo and getting offended because Kay calls her lady.
Dana proceeds to ask a bunch of questions, but Kay says she's asking the wrong questions. She says she knows who killed M, and that is where the episode ends.
Yeah, so...
Now, she can't possibly have witnessed the murder.
Kay thinks she's put two and two together and knows what happened that night.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she doesn't know the whole story, but maybe she knows some breadcrumb of a clue that's going to lead us somewhere.
All right, pretty excellent second episode, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to seeing episode 3 for sure.
And we hit all of the people that were listed as credited in this episode that we didn't already talk about.
That's pretty impressive.
There was nobody I wasn't able to match up this time.
Nice. I mean, there were plenty of people I didn't manage to do it, but
that's okay.
That's why I have you.
It's challenging.
Yes.
It is challenging.
Especially without Internet Movie Database to help us in
right, and I
way.
think that's going to continue to be the case since we're recording almost a full week ahead of release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
But we'll get there.
Do we have anything else?
They have to eventually run out of new people to show us, right?
Yeah. Still besides the random guest stars. But, I mean, they're kind of on lockdown and nobody's allowed to leave. But still, that could leave like 100,000 people.
Yeah,
so.
it's very similar to Under the Dome or From,
yeah.
where, we are isolated. Nobody can come or go from this town.
Right.
Even though it's, man-made in this case.
Right.
It's a man-made quarantine. But still, that's the scenario, is you have these people in this location and that's it. At least for now.
All right, so maybe next week we'll find out who actually killed M.
I don't think we're going to. I think that mystery's going to last, at least through the season.
Okay. All right, so do we have anything else to say before concluding?
Again, it was a good episode, and I'm still very eager to see what comes next. Are we going to get back to Arlene?
Right.
Is
you're going to get some shading on...
What's his name? Blaine? Is Blaine hiding her, protecting her?
Right.
Or did he just rescue the baby from her?
How would he manage to do that with her being violent?
I don't know, but he got the baby.
Right, he did.
So what is their relationship?
He clearly had some kind of control over her to be able to do
what
that.
is she anyways? That she's so different from the other revivers.
Right.
Do the other revivers have something? Like her thing is this super strength, right?
Super dementia.
Super something.
Right.
So yeah, there's still what the heck's going on with her? What caused the revivers in the first place? What's the mystery about this dude Blackdeer? And who killed M?
Yeah, so some interesting questions that we are definitely left with. I'm eager to see where the series goes for sure. Do we have anything else to say before concluding?
That's all I got. If you are watching this series, try to give us your comments and let us know what you think of the series. We want to join you into the conversation. Yeah, if you make a comment that's constructive, non-trolly, we'll definitely shout you out. Stacie, we reached that. I can reach on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TV and Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join the Core Productions Facebook page. You can join Stacie's new Reviver fan page, which has 20 members now.
20. But I mean, the show just premiered last night. I'm sure that's going to grow before you hear this.
Yes,
I hope.
All right.
And that's called Revival Sci-Fi Series Fans.
All right, and of course you can you can buy me a copy. You can join the Korman Productions membership for 99 cents a month, and of course you can like, share, and comment on the video as well as subscribe to the channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Korman Productions signing off.